Am I speaking out loud? I'm sure everyone has felt a little pressure from time to time from their parents. Maybe about school or sports, maybe about work or chores. It seems parents usually want what is best for their children. But what is too much? I decided to do a little research on this, and I came to a conclusion. Parents should never pressure their children because it can lead to stress and mental health issues. Now let's begin with why parents should never pressure children because it can lead to stress. Pressure on children can stress them in many different environments, from on the court or on the field to even in the classroom. I grew up around a few different sports. My brothers wrestled for many years. I distinctly remember an instance where I watched a boy lose a match. He was one of the best wrestlers around. He had even been to states the previous year. But here he was, after losing a match, up against the wall with his father screaming in his face. His father yelled at him about everything he had done wrong to lose the match. Eventually, the coach and another parent had to intervene when things began to get too heated. According to an article in Psychology Today, written by Dr. Robert T. Mueller in 2015, the pressure has a detrimental effect on a child's health and leaves them feeling distressed and deflated. I often wonder if that's what he felt while getting yelled at in front of his peers, opponents, and coaches. Distressed and deflated. In the classroom, children already face many stresses without the influence of their parents. According to a National Public Radio podcast in 2019, between the authors Dr. Roston and Dr. Hibbs on The Stressed Years of Their Lives, a book which helps parents help their kids survive college. They said, "So we see, especially very smart kids, which some researchers call brainiacs, they have what we call destructive perfectionism. They cannot tolerate not excelling at everything. This kind of perfectionism places high levels of stress on children, not to fail, because they simply cannot. It means that when they do indeed fail at something, it freaks them out and they throw themselves into that, trying to make it perfect. In addition, parents should never pressure children because it can lead to mental health issues. In the previously mentioned Psychology Today, the long-term negative effects of parental stress in sports is discussed through two professional, successful athletes, Andre Agassi and Mickey Mantle. Andre Agassi wrote in his autobiography about his hate for tennis, the sport with which he rose to fame. He called it a dark and secret passion. Here's an image of Andre Agassi kissing the Grand World Slam trophy from Tennis World USA. And he called it a dark, secret passion. He shares in the book how after winning his first Grand Slam out of 8, his father told him, "You had no business losing that 4th set." Both Mantle and Agassi faced problems with substance abuse to escape the mental pressures they struggled with, even through their adult lives, from pressure that came from their fathers. Mickey Mantle, who played for the Yankees and was inducted in the Baseball Hall of Fame, even contemplated suicide. The National Public Radio podcast also shines light on the mental health of students feeling the pressure. In a topic of discussion on why a lot of students don't use counseling services, Dr. Roston states that among students who endorse suicidal ideation, suicidal thoughts on a regular basis, only about 1 in 4 seek help. According to americashealthrankings.org, in 2019, for adolescents between the ages of 15 and 19, there were 10.5 deaths per 100,000. As you can see here, the graph that shows the statistic, you can see this is the year 2019 and how far up it is. It's at 10.5. The year 2018 was at 9. It went up 1.5. Yes. Of course, there are other things to factor in about why someone would take their own life, but this is still a sad statistic. Dr. Roston comments that the other 3 out of 4 students don't seek help by wishing that a bad mental state will simply go away on its own, like a bad cold would. The sad truth is it simply won't go away, and it will only get worse if help is not received. In conclusion, I appreciate having the opportunity to speak with you today. Parents should never pressure children because it can lead to stress and mental health issues. Parental support is important for children. However, I hope you will be careful to not push that line into pressure.